In today's adventure of an episode, we're reading some Tumblr stories. I felt like something a little bit different and a little bit more lighthearted today. So yeah, we're going to read a whole bunch of funny stuff, and I hope you guys have a wonderful time. I was on the bus and these kids near me were arguing loudly and using wild hand gestures, and they were looking like they were going to kill each other. So I pop out one headphone and I hear, no, okay, you can eat salsa at room temperature or cold, but you cannot heat that crap up. They were arguing about salsa. They were looking like they were going to kill someone over salsa. Yeah, this was a good choice. I feel like we've needed to have an episode like this, but yeah, I don't know, salsa is pretty beautiful, so maybe it is worth arguing about. I took a poop in my grandma's cat's litter box when I was 13. And my whole family was wilding out trying to figure out why the cat took such a huge dump. And then they took her to the vet and we found out that she had feline HIV. So in a way, I helped her. This story was wild from start to finish. Yeah, what? That's kind of incredible. Good on you, sort of, in a way, for taking a dump in your cat's litter box. I'm laughing because I can't believe what I'm even saying. Like, are these words really coming out of my mouth? But yeah, that was amazing in a not amazing sort of way. Last year, one night, me and my old roommates were all playing Twister, and Mike was on the spinner, and halfway through the game he kind of mumbled to himself, I sure hope I'm calling these right. And then everybody in the room simultaneously remembered that Mike was colorblind. Wow, no way. I read some stuff on Tumblr all the time and I'm like, is this real? Some of the stuff on there is very obviously not real, but there's stuff like this where it's on the line and I can't really tell if it is real or not. 48 years ago, a girl said, "Oh, F me," to her best friend while walking in the street. A guy who randomly passed by answered, "Let me at least buy you dinner first. I present to you my grandparents, in love since then and celebrating their 47 years of marriage today. Grandpa got game." Somebody says, "Oh, F me," and another person responds and they fall in love. Like, yep, okay, you're gonna be my husband. I had a server tell me about how he was harassed into going to a church baptism ceremony by a not so close friend, and to get them off his back, he agreed. He decided sometime before that if he was going to be forced to do this, he might as well have fun with it, right? So he goes to Lush and buys one of the black bath bombs and then cuts it in half. Now fast forward to the day off and he's wearing a small harness under his shirt, and that's keeping both halves of the bath bomb, one either shoulder blade. He volunteers to get baptized. They take him up, put him in the white robe, and then he waits his turn. Now the friend who's invited him had no clue what he was doing. They're pleasantly surprised to see him participating. Honestly, a mistake on their part. I only knew this guy for a max of 45 minutes and I could already tell this dude was a chaos entity. So his turn comes up and they go to dunk him, and the water immediately starts to foam and then turn black, and he starts screaming like a banshee and then jumps out of the water and hisses at the priest. Everybody lost it and he was banned from ever attending that church again. So yeah, all in all, seems like a great thing to do for a funny story. Legend. Yeah, so like that didn't happen, did it? You know what I mean? I can't tell if they're real or not. Like, on one hand, they seem so definitely not true, but at the same time, I feel like it could happen. I don't know. Either I'm too skeptical or I'm too gullible, but yeah, it doesn't matter. It's still super fun to read. So there was a lady at work today who tried to shoplift a watermelon by hiding it under her shirt, and she tripped on the way out of the door and fell on the watermelon and broke it, and she started screaming, "My baby!" Just screaming and crying, and it was the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life. Wow. And to yell and scream and cry and say that it was your baby, like they weren't actually trying to make it out like it was their baby, were they? Like, that's a horrific thing to say, and also not how it works. Also, they could steal a watermelon. That's so bizarre. At the dinner table, my sister asked all of us what color we thought her boyfriend's shirt looked like. After we all said grey, she turned to him and said, "Now tell him what color you think it is." And he just quietly replied, "Dark white." Well, like, yeah, they're not wrong, sorta. White with some black mixed in. That's so funny. They're like, what's the name of that color? Like, yeah, some colors and shades are hard to remember, but I wouldn't say grey was one of them. Today I heard two kids talking about buying fake IDs after school, and so I started eavesdropping because, you know, that's big kid stuff. And then one of them said, "Yeah, but is all this really worth it? Like, I'm pretty sure the fake IDs cost more than the fish that we're gonna buy. To buy fish at Petco, you have to be 18 or older. That we're gonna get fake IDs to buy fish. That's kinda wholesome in a weird sort of way. I really want a fish, okay? It's serious. We need them, and I know we're not 18, but we gotta get them somehow." A friend of mine just messaged me saying, "I messed up. I was doing math with my son and I told him to hold up 11 fingers, and he started to panic and I didn't realize why until he screamed, Mum, I only have 10. Somebody called the ambulance. I'm dying. Yeah, they take it so literally and they completely trust you. They're like, wait a second, I don't have 11 fingers. What do I do now? I failed. My little brother and I were swimming and my dad walked out and said, it's trash day tomorrow, you know what that means? And my brother looked at me dead in the eyes and said, it's time for you to go. Wow, not only is that super funny, but also kind of terrifying. A very threatening thing for your brother to say. Wait a second, I might have interpreted this wrong. Were they trying to be like a mob boss and saying like they're gonna die? Or were they just calling you trash? Right, so when I started my sociology course in college, my teacher started us off with, well, I guess we have to do icebreakers. I'm John and I fear bears. Why do I fear bears? Because bears can run at 30 miles per hour and Chester Zoo is 30 miles away. That means a bear can be outside this door in an hour. Why would a bear be here? Because they can smell fear and I fear them. So they're living their life in fear that a bear is just going to show up. I don't know if that's funny or sad or both, or maybe even concerning, because I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen, is it? Oh my god. There's a bear at the door and it's going to eat me. This one time I ran a red light on mistake and I didn't notice it was red until it was too late. So I just ran the light screeching like an angry pterodactyl the entire time. A cop was at the intersection, so he pulled me over, and when he came up to my window, he was wheezing from laughing so hard and he said, okay, so I know you ran a red light and that's really bad and you should never do it again, but I'm not going to give you a ticket because that was the funniest thing I've ever seen. And my partner can't even get out of the car because he's laughing so hard he's about to pee himself. I forgot that I'd had my window open when I ran the red light, and the cop told me that all he could hear from my car was a really high-pitched scream, and that's how I got out of a ticket for running a red light. All they hear is a scream that gets quieter and quieter. The mental image that gets painted when you read these is so beautiful. I feel like I can perfectly imagine this situation. I just remembered this time I was telling a story to a friend, and it was clear that she wasn't listening to me, so I started making up this huge gruesome story about a cult murder I'd witnessed, while she sat there nodding along to my dramatic moral struggle about whether or not I should come forward. And then I looked up to see the table next to us looked utterly horrified, and long story short, that's why I should remember that other people have ears. Yeah, that old thing, eh? Like, oh, wait a second, everybody can actually hear me? That's horrifying. They're like sitting there trying to eat some food or something, thinking about whether or not they should bring you in. Should I be calling the police on this maniac next to me? Probably. I was at Walmart the other day and I was sitting on a bench waiting for my mum to pay, and I was braiding my hair because that's something I do when I'm bored. And this dude walks by and says, hey baby, what else can you do with your hands? I gave him my most polite smile and I said in the sweetest way possible, strangle you. And I think I actually scared him because his eyes got kind of wide and he just walked away. I wish I had this kind of confidence. Wow, some people can be so gross. That's so gross of them to say that. But yeah, I feel like you had the best response ever. Strangle you, now get out of here. So I went to the bathroom at Chili's and it was super air conditioned in there. I was by myself and I said, wow, it's really cold in here. And then followed it up by saying, one might even say it's chilly. And I realized this is it. This is why I'm single. I make puns to myself in an empty bathroom. No. This is definitely a good thing to do. I feel like talking to yourself in general is a good thing. If I get upset about something, I'll talk myself out of it like I'm talking to myself and I'm two different people. And you know what? It actually works, and I don't feel like it means that you've lost your mind, and I don't feel like it's a reason that you're single. I definitely see it as a positive. One time I saw someone skipping rocks and eating a sandwich along the beach, and I don't know why, but he just tossed his sandwich in the water and bit the rock, and he just stiffened a bit, but I saw him dying inside after realizing what had just happened. Surely not. Like, I'd like to imagine that this did not happen and it would never happen. But on the other hand, the world is a big place and there's a lot of people in the world. Somebody probably has mixed up a rock and a sandwich and tried to eat the rock and tried to skip their sandwich in the ocean. This might be one of the most disappointing situations imaginable. Not only are you biting a rock, so you probably don't have teeth anymore, but you also don't have your sandwich anymore. Oh, that's heartbreaking. My mum has a friend who has a failed program service dog, and he's literally my favorite creature. He's a really smart lab. He learned all the commands, but he just has an affinity for doing them whenever he wants. So this lady's dog literally turns on and off lights, opens doors, opens the fridge, etc. at his own wishes. Her house looks like it's been baby-proofed with kid-safe locks on everything and stuff. But really, she just has a dog that learned all the mobility service dog commands, but has a mind of his own. A chaotic good boy. Yeah, that's 100% what it is. Beautiful little puppy dog. Like, what's all this stuff in your house? Do you have a baby I don't know about? No, I just have a really smart dog. dog. My parents and I were watching The Hobbit, but then they both fell asleep, so I stopped the movie and I started Return of the King about halfway through. And when my dad woke up, he just looked at me with this horrified expression and whispered, "What day is it? That's so bloody devious, but I love it so much. Like evil, but also beautiful at the same time. I'm glad you did this, OP." So we have an Italian exchange student at our school, and he and I were hanging out, and he saw a pony, and he tried to show me, but he didn't know what it was called, so he just pointed at it and said, "Look, the compressed horse," and then he just grinned at his complete understanding of the English language. That is so bloody wholesome. Oh my god, compressed horse, everybody look. Oh my god, the other one, an extended pony. There's a very, very tall dog over there. When I was like 9, my neighbors asked me to watch their fish and cat while they went on vacation, and I was like, lol, okay. And while they were gone, the bloody fish died. So when they got home, I apologized to the mum, and she said, "No need to apologize. I turned the filter off so they would die because they're too much work. You did nothing wrong." And she gave me $20, and that's the story of my first contracted murder. They let the fish die because they were too much work? That's so mean. Oh my god, the fish didn't do anything. That was surprisingly upsetting. You guys, I'm in Disney World, and this afternoon my blood sugar dropped so low that I got separated from my family, and I somehow bought an ice cream and then blacked out and woke up on a bench with chocolate sauce all over my arms and Mickey Mouse putting a cold towel on my head. This truly is a magical place. Wow, definitely a trip to Disney World that you won't forget. Well, you know, you were blacked out, so you definitely missed a bit of it. But yeah, I'm glad you're okay, and it must be pretty startling to wake up to Mickey Mouse in your face. And I never thought I'd say that sentence. What the hell? My 7-year-old sister just came into my room and gestured for me to follow her and didn't say anything, so I did. And she led me into the backyard and she said, "I'm gonna show you my secret." And I was like, "What? Okay." And she took the lid off her portable sandbox and it was filled with water and like thousands of tiny baby tadpoles swimming around. And I was like, "What? Where did you get these?" And she said, "I'm raising them." I love how I don't know how to feel after reading these. Like, do I find this funny or concerning or scary or amazing or wholesome? Kind of all of them at once. Friday at school, I heard some girl in the hallway scream, "For the last time, biatch, I'm lesbian. I'm not trying to steal your boyfriend. He smells like ketchup anyway." Okay, I have an unbelievable amount of questions. Well, mainly one question. Why do they smell like tomato sauce? Do people really eat enough of that to smell like it? Or did they spill it on themselves or something? Very confused. When I was 12, I babysat this girl for a few years and she'd come to me and show me her art, drag me by my wrist and point at the pieces that she made during the week, and she'd be like, "Do the voice," and I'd put on a sports announcer Olympic style voice and be like, "Such form. The level of colouring. Why, I haven't seen such perfection in Crayola in a long time. And what is this? Why, Jeff, now this is a true risk. It seems she's made a monochrome pink canvas. I haven't seen this attempted since winter 1932. And I've got to say, Jeff, it's absolutely splendid." And she'd fall back giggling. At the end of every night, she'd check with me, "Did you really like it?" And I'd say yes, and I'd talk about something I noticed, and then I tucked her in. She was just accepted into 3 major art schools. She wrote me a letter. Inside was a picture from when she was younger. Monochrome pink. "Thank you," it said, "to somebody who saw the best in me." Yeah, I think I read this one for a YouTube short a long time ago, and it's so bloody wholesome. Like, how beautiful is that? Like, a lot of these posts, I'm like, oh, I kind of hope that isn't real, but this one better be real. So bloody cute and wholesome. And yeah, not only congratulations to them getting accepted into the schools, but good on OP for doing this. It would have been such a cool feeling. I just walked past the apartment beneath mine, and through an open window, I could hear my downstairs neighbor crying faintly while the song Jolene played in the background. And I'm like, "B-Archie, you okay?" I actually ended up going back downstairs to check on her, and I brought her some leftover cookies I baked this afternoon. She's so sweet and going through a breakup mood after being cheated on. She's coming over to my girlfriend and I's annual bad movie night on Friday, and she even let me pet her cat named Clarence. My girlfriend thinks it's funny, but also very fitting that our downstairs neighbor was able to summon a concerned lesbian just by playing Jolene while crying about being done dirty by a man. Okay, so that is super funny, but not only that, it sounds like the beginning of a friendship, and that's so bloody beautiful. Good on you for being super kind. So I went to the eye doctor, right? So I sit down to fill out the paperwork like you do, and the lady was like, "Thanks, doctor will be with you in a moment." And I was like, why did she say doctor twice? That's weird. But then I looked at the business cards on the table, and his name was actually Dr. Chad Doctor. And I looked around, and the other assistant caught my eye and just nodded like, "You just had the moment, didn't ya?" Chad saw his chance and he took it. Yeah, they must have. Like, wait a second, my last name is Doctor? I'm never gonna get an opportunity like this again. I need to be a doctor. Alaska. That's so funny. They're like, you know what? I don't even feel like I have a choice. My name chose it for me. When I was 12 or 13, me and my extended family went on a vacation to Alaska. We took a passenger train that was pretty much a tourist line, and they had a guy doing some activities and games and stuff to help pass the time. One of the things was he gave everybody a note card and said something like, draw a male moose. There's something specific that a male moose has, and 5 minutes later he picks up note cards, winces, laughs and goes, guys, antlers. A male moose has antlers, as he holds up a drawing of a moose with a gigantic ding dong. Oh my god, that's so funny. What does a male moose have? Of course that happened though. Like, I'd be surprised if it didn't. A few years back, I was a waitress at a breakfast diner. On the menus there are pictures of omelets. The omelets pictured are yellow. It's 11 at night. I get the last table before closing, and it's a girl my age. She asked for the tea and an egg white omelet, so I bring over the egg white omelet, and she starts screaming. Why? Because it's not yellow like in the picture on the menu. It's white, so something must be wrong. I explained that the yolk is what makes omelets yellow, and she didn't want egg yolks. She's still mad and yells again, and then realizes she could eat while she's yelling, so she does. And I get to watch her chew with her mouth open while she rants about eggs. I'm exhausted and dying inside. She finally stops, and I ask if she wants a refill of tea, and she says yes. She's quiet for the rest of her meal, for which I'm very grateful. After she paid and left, I collected her receipt. On it, she wrote in all capital letters, "I don't understand how eggs work, but it was yummy." She left a $20 bill on the table as a tip. She also left some pills in a bag that my manager sent to the police, which were identified as some sort of amphetamine. Don't do drugs, kids. You'll forget how eggs work. The moral of the story wasn't really what I expected, but it's hilarious. Yeah, what an adventure that would have been. Like, it's an adventure even reading about it, let alone being in that situation. It's been a super fun episode. Let me know down below if I should do more stuff like this. I once lost my keys at a frat house. My drunk ass had actually walked home without them, pounded on my apartment door, gotten let in by my rightfully disgruntled roommate, and proceeded to pass out on the couch. Apparently I puked in the toilet before passing out. I do not remember this part. The next morning I schlepped back to the frat house. I stood there right in front of the front door. This was a novel experience for me. I'd never been in a frat house in broad daylight before. A boy, presumably of the house, asked me what I was doing. I lost my keys in here last night. I called back. I was seeing if I could go in and look for them. He opened the door and gestured for me to come in. Go wherever you want. I'd never seen a frat house post-party before. Wandering up the stairs and through the halls, I was surrounded by hungover and still drunk frat boys, stumbling around in their socks and sandals and gym shorts, seeking out food and showers like a moth under porch light. A few of them threw puzzled glances my way. I'm sure they thought I was some post-bacchanalia hallucination. I entered one room where a boy was drunkenly watching some old Yeller-esque movie on a tiny TV from his bed. "Do you like dog movies?" he asked, voice all mumbly from grogginess and also from the fact that his voice was squashed against the pillow and half buried by his blanket. I told him I did. He mumbled again, pleased, and asked what I was doing. I told him I was looking for my keys. "Sorry, I haven't seen any keys around here." I didn't doubt him. 20 minutes had passed. I'd searched just about every bedroom and nuclear waste dump site of a bathroom. I'd given up on ever finding my keys, and I was prepared to beg for my roommate's forgiveness and get a new set copied. As I stood there in the hallway silently bewailing my predicament, a particularly burly frat boy approached me. "You need help with something? I lost my keys here last night and I can't find them. I've looked everywhere. What do they look like? I'll put it into the group chat." He was already pulling out his phone. No one ever checks a group chat, I thought, but what the hell? It was worth a shot. It's just a ring of keys. The keychain is a pink plastic cat, though like, yeah, big. Like bright pink, you can't miss it. He nodded, presumably typing this description faithfully into the group chat. Alright, I sent the message out. Good luck. And with that, he turned and left. A few moments later, I heard a distant thundering. It was coming from upstairs and it was getting louder and louder. One assumes that how I felt in that moment was how Simba felt seeing the wildebeest stampede through the ravine as a horde of large young men all thundered down the stairs, making a beeline for me. "Someone tell the girl!" one of them shouted, faceless in the mob. "Girl! Hey! Girl! We found your keys, girl!" They circled around me. I hadn't felt that small since I was maybe 11 years old. One of them spilt something off from the crowd. "Are these?" He pulled out a ring of keys from his pocket. "Your keys?" And lo and behold, there was the distinctive bright millennial pink cat keychain dangling off the ring. "Yes," I whispered. "Oh my god, yeah." Hey, the cheer went up. Turns out he found them in the bathroom upstairs. I thanked them again profusely. There was a scattered round of no problems, and then just as suddenly as they descended, they all dispersed like ships in the night. This is Boys Will Be Boys. That was so fun to read. And once again, I can perfectly imagine this. Hell yeah, I'm so happy they found your keys. The other night, I tried to make a curry and I got chili burns all over my face. So I thought to myself, hang on, doesn't frozen milk soothe chili burns? It does, and I couldn't Google because I couldn't see, so I just had to blindly feel my way to the fridge and pour out a bowl of milk, and then plant my face in the bowl of milk. Anyway, at that point the rice cooker went off and triggered a power surge, which turned my electricity off, which I didn't notice at first because I had my face in a bowl of milk, and when I did emerge out of the dairy prison, I thought I'd gone blind with chili burns. So no, I don't really cook much. Oh my god, once again, that's so funny. And I feel like that's enough for today. That was such a fun episode, guys. I hope you had a wonderful time. And if you did and you want to see more episodes like this, make sure you like and subscribe. I'm not going to read any wholesome memes today because I don't feel like we need them. The entire episode was wholesome today. But yeah, definitely like and subscribe and let me know down below what you thought. And the comment of the day today goes to Heather Johnson. I always look forward to your videos first thing in the morning. No matter what the video's about, it starts my day off on a good note. Keep up the good work. You're too kind, Heather. I really appreciate the kind words and I really appreciate the support. I'm so glad you enjoyed the episodes. Don't worry, there's a lot more to come. And on that note, I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Make sure you look after yourself and make sure you have a beautiful, amazing rest of your day. And you know what I'm about to say because I say it every single day. Bye!